Today we'll be solving the NPSC, this preliminary examination, okay, which was conducted today. So I managed to get hold of set A, okay. So the first question here it says is the Bihar Assembly elections were conducted in November 2025, right? As the term of the which legislative assembly was coming to an end in the same month. So here's a direct question. The answer is C, right? Because it's the 17th legislative assembly was coming to an end, and the new legislative assembly which was to be constituted is the 18th, okay? Question number 2. Indian climate activist Sonam Wangchuk was kept in preventive detention by the center under. So the correct answer is National Security Act, okay? 1980. Question number 3. The 2025 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded in recognition of discoveries that transformed the scientific understanding of. So here, the correct answer is something related to autoimmune, right? But this is also not completely wrong, okay? It's cancerous diseases, okay? So the correct option is autoimmune regulation, right? Scientific understanding of the autoimmune regulation. So, but even the option number C is not completely wrong, okay? So the commission may go with the answer number D, or it may go with both C and D also, okay? Question number 4. India won the Women ODI World Cup cricket tournament for the first time in 2025, defeating the South Africa in the final. How many times did it feature in the final in the previous edition of tournament? So, only once, right? The correct answer is B, okay? So here the question they're asking is, how many times did India enter the final, okay? Which does not include this time, okay? The 2025 edition. So in the previous time, how many times did India women the final tournament kiman participation na? So the answer is once, okay? It was in the year 2025, right? 2005, I think. Question number 5. The Dutch celebrated its 93rd anniversary this year. So the correct option is B, okay? Indian Air Force. Question number 6. India's Minister of State for External Affairs represented the country at the Peace Summit on Dash co-hosted by Egypt and USA, which was held in Sharm el-Sheikh on 13th October 2025. So the correct option is Gaza, okay? So that summit was held on Gaza. Number 7. In October 2025, the Afghan Taliban administration's foreign minister became the first top-level Taliban leader to be hosted by the famed seminary Darul Uloom in Deoband, a town situated in. So even if you don't know any of this information, for those who know where Deoband is located, you know that it's located in Uttar Pradesh, right? Question number 8. The government of India has released a list of 24 individual scientists and a team as recipients of the second edition of the Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar 2025 award conferred by the Center for Scientific Achievement under 4 categories: Vigyan Team, Vigyan Ratna, Vigyan Shri, Vigyan Yuva, Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award. The last name award is for individuals under the age of, so the correct option is 45, okay? So if you look at questions like this time, okay, in exam, you see, if you read the early part of the question, it's just, time consuming, right? What is the only thing that should be focused in here in the question is here, right? This is the last part. The Vigyan Puraskar Shanti Swarup is awarded for individuals under 45 years of age, right? So because the question is quite long and at the end of the day, it doesn't add much to the question also, but it makes, it consumes a lot of time for the students, okay, during the exam hall. Question number 9. Monta was the name given by Thailand to the tropical cyclone that affected some southern states in India in October 2025. Which of the following option is closest to what the word Monta means in Thai? So it means a beautiful or a fragrant flower. Okay. The government of India has officially constituted the 8th Pay Commission through a gazette notification dated 3rd November 2025, who was appointed as the chairperson of the 3-tier commission. So it is Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai. Okay. She is a former judge of the Supreme Court. Question number 11. Which player won the year-end WTA Finals 2025 tennis tournament featuring the world best 8 singles player held in Riyadh in November 2025? So the correct option is A. Elena Rybakina. Question number 12. The Prime Minister of India went to Bhutan in November 2025 for a two-day state visit during which the 70th birthday celebrations of their fourth king, Jigme Singye Wangchuk, was held. He and King Wangchuk also inaugurated a Dutch developed jointly by India and Bhutan. So the correct option is D, okay? So generally, what Bhutan has to offer to the world is hydroelectric power generation, okay? So even if you are not very aware of this, the whole information, if you are aware of general knowledge as well as the information of general information, you will generally go for the third or the fourth option, right? What is Aditya L1, the spacecraft launched by ISRO? So if you see again here, lots of unimportant system, right? If you just ask what is Aditya L1, you know that it's India's only solar observatory system, right? But because they've given lots of information, it consumes quite a time for the students during the exam hall. And during prelims, time constraint is also very important, right? Here the question is, what is Aditya L1, the spacecraft launched by ISRO on board from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota in 2023, which is placed in the halo orbit around the Lagrangian point L1. So if you place an object at the Lagrangian point, any Lagrangian point, so it stays in an equilibrium state, okay, of the Sun-Earth system about 1.5 kilometer from Earth. So the answer is Solar Observatory. Which northeastern state was honored during the 18th Urban Mobility India Conference held in Gurugram, Haryana in November 2025 for its outstanding performance in traffic management? The event is organized annually by the Institute of Urban Transport India under the aegis of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So the correct option is A, okay? Mizoram. Number 15. Which of the following Indian service chief went on an official visit to the United States in 2025 to strengthen the partnership between the two nations on a specific chosen field? So the correct option is C. Okay. So because one way India and United Nations, their focus is into Pacific also, right? Which deals with ocean. So the one who went was the chief of the naval staff. Okay. Question number 16. India External Affairs S.J. Shankar met with his counterpart Anita Anand of Canada on the sidelines of the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting in Niagara in November 2025 with an objective of, is a general question, further building our bilateral partnership, okay? Question number 17. The German Climate Risk Index 2026 report released at COP UN Climate Change Conference in November 2025 finds that more than 832,000 people died, nearly 5.7 billion were affected, and economic losses exceeded 4.5 trillion. Inflation adjusted due to over 9,700 extreme poverty events between 1995 and 2024. India ranks which among the nations thus affected? So the correct option is D. See again here, a question that we're almost 80% of the sentences of the paragraph is not even important, right? If you just focus on the climate, the German Watch Climate Risk Index 2026 and India's ranked in, you'll know that is 9, right? 9th rank. Question number 18. Which Indian state has been recognized as top achiever in the National Business Reform Action Plan 2024 ranking announced recently by the Centre's Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade? So the correct option is C, okay? So if you see across, even in general also, states like Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, they have undertaken a lot of initiative, okay, the state government in order to promote and develop the state, okay, especially to attract business. That is why if you look at the ease of doing business index, states like Telangana and Andhra Pradesh will always be at the top tier, okay? Question number 19. Google Cloud and Google DeepMind has announced a partnership with which of the following institutions to support the launch of Intic Arena, a platform meant to benchmark and rank AI models and tasks around Indian language. The platform is run by AI for Bharat, a research lab within an institution being partnered with. And the correct option is C, okay? IIT Madras. Again here, if the question was just shortened for the platform A for research lab being partnered with, so it will be IIT Madras, okay? Instead of just reading the whole paragraph, okay? Question number 20. Name the award won by Deepa Pasti, the Kannada and English writer who, in 2025, became the first Indian translator and first translator of color to be awarded the prize. So it is International People's Prize, okay? 21. Which Indian chess grandmaster won the FIDE Women's Chess World Cup 2025? Correct option is Divya Deshmukh. 22. Naval Data and former group company leader Bhaskar Bhatt were recently appointed on the board of which of the powerful trusts within the 156-year-old data group that comprise around 400 companies, including 30 listed entities. Okay, the correct option is D. Sri Dorabji Data Trust. Number 23. The Chief Minister of which Indian state recently declared it free from extreme poverty at a special session of the Assembly held on the State Foundation Day this year, making it the first state to be declared so. Correct option is Kerala. 24. Which Indian state has officially been recognized as a UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy? So when we say gastronomy, it means food, okay? During the 43rd session of UNESCO General Conference that was held at Uzbekistan during November 2025, the recognition celebrates the city's century-old type of cuisine, living food tradition, and inclusive cultural heritage. So the correct option is B, okay, Lucknow. So, Lord, what thing I've also noticed is that many of the questions, current affairs related questions, were related to things that have happened in the month of November 2025. Okay, so you will see lots of things from 2025, current affairs from 2025, November 2025. In November 2025, see again, the Supreme Court of India banned dash within an area 1 kilometer from national park and wildlife sanctuaries, noting that such activities will be hazardous to wildlife. This was in the context of pleas being considered on issues related to conservation reserve in Jharkhand. So the correct option is A, mining activities. 26. India has been elected unopposed to the Dutch for a 3-year term period from 2026 to 2028. This will be India's 7th term on the body. So it is United Nations Human Rights Council. On November 7, 2005, the Prime Minister of India inaugurated the year-long celebration commemorating the 150th anniversary of, the correct option is A, country's national song Vande Mataram. So another current affairs from November 2025. Question number 28. On September 17, 2025, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy notified the National Policy on Dash Energy 2025 to tap the country's untapped resources and accelerate its clean energy transition towards the net zero target 2070. So the correct option is geothermal, okay? Question number 29. The President of India conferred the 71st National Film Awards in New Delhi on September 23rd, 2025. Which legendary actor received the prestigious Tata Saheb Phalke Award for his lifetime contribution to the film industry? So the correct option is Mohanlal, okay? So he is from Kerala and is a Malayalam actor, okay? On October 1, 2025, India's Union Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports launched the My Bharat mobile application. The digital platform is designed to empower young people to dash anytime, anywhere. So correct option is search for global job opportunities anytime, anywhere. Question number 31. The Ganga-Brahmaputra basin covers a significant portion of India's subcontinent and is spread across several states in the northern and eastern states. Which of the following state is not covered by the basin? So a larger part of northern parts of India covers the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin, right? So when we say basin, it includes not only the state through which the river passes, okay? It also includes all those catchment area, right? So if you look at the 4 option, the correct option is D, okay, Odisha, because it does not form a part of the Ganga-Brahmaputra. The Mahanadi is the one for it. Odisha forms the basin for Mahanadi, okay? 32. Hemis, Tikse, She, and Lama Yuro are the names of Taj in Ladakh. So these are Buddhist monasteries, okay? Especially Hemis is quite famous among these 4 also. Question number 33. Chulta Minar or the Shaking Minaret is a must-visit monument when you are in Dutch, built in the city Pasha Mosque. This unique minaret sway when force is applied to the upper edge. So the correct option is the Ahmedabad, Gujarat, okay? 34. Spiritual and cultural epicenter of Sikhism, the famous Golden Temple in Amritsar is also known as Harminder Sahib, right? Question number 35. Intensive subsistence agriculture in India includes growing millets primarily in dry parts of this. Here correct option is western and southern India. Okay, so if you look in the western and southern parts of India, not the entire region, but those areas which are dry, which means we receive less rainfall. In those areas, they practice the intensive subsistence agriculture. Okay. Question number 36. Which of the following states in India have iron ore mines? So the correct option is B. Okay. Telangana. So traces may be found in other states. Okay, but the one where it is found in plenty is Telangana. Okay. 37. Which state or union territory in India is officially recognized to have nil forest area? So the correct option is C. Okay. Lakshadweep is generally considered to have nil forest area. Okay. Officially, right? Question number 38. Where in India do active volcanoes of any kind exist today? So the correct option is B. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Question number 39. Agricultural scientist M.S. Swaminathan, popularly known as the father of Green Revolution in India, spearheaded an increase in agricultural production during the mid-1960s by introducing new wheat varieties brought from which country? So correct option is C. Mexico. Mahanadi is the sixth largest river in India and has a total length of 858 kilometers. Other than Odisha, which of the following state does it flow through before draining into Bay of Bengal at Falls Point near the major seaport town of Paradeep? So here, if you know the geography of Mahanadi, you know that it flows only two states, okay? One is in Odisha, others in Chhattisgarh, okay? So correct option is A. 41. Indus Valley Civilization was identified in 1921 at Harappa in the Punjab region and then in 1922 at Mohenjo-daro near the Indus River in the Sindh region. Both sites are in present-day Pakistan in Punjab and Sindh provinces respectively. In which year were the ruins of the Mohenjo-daro designated as UNESCO World Heritage Site? So correct option is C, okay? 1980. 42. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, often called as the Iron Man of India, is credited along with V.P. Menon with arranging the incorporation of dash princely states into a unified independent India. So the correct option is A, okay? So here, mm, it depends upon the book, okay? In some book you will just see as 550, some book you will see as 552, okay? So the closest one, if you see that, it's 560, right? So you just go with that, okay? Which of the following states account for the largest share of rice production in India? So it is West Bengal, right? Because it is a very fertile place, plus they can grow rice throughout the year also, right? As a monporo. So these are the different ways because of which the West Bengal forms the largest share of rice production in India, okay? Here the focus is only on rice production, okay? 44. Of the following states in India, which one is the least dependent on southwest monsoon for irrigation needs? Now, this can be a confusing question also, okay? Now, some parts of India are heavily dependent upon southwest monsoon, right? A major part of India. But some parts of India are not so dependent upon the southwest monsoon. So if you look at the four option, even West Bengal, it received a major section of the rainfall is received from the southwest monsoon, right? Even Bihar also. So even Rajasthan, also 90% of the rain in Rajasthan is from the southwest monsoon only, okay? So the one which is least dependent is Tamil Nadu, okay? Because it is mainly dependent on it receives rainfall not only from southwest monsoon, but it receiving rainfall from the northeast monsoon during the uh, winter months, okay? And so the correct option is Tamil Nadu. 45. Assam is the largest tea growing state in India. Which of the following is not among the other top 5 tea growing states in the country? So correct option is Karnataka, okay? So apart from Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, they are some of the largest growing tea in India, okay? Question number 46. Which state is the second largest producer of food grains in India after Uttar Pradesh, which accounts for the largest share of total grains produced in the country? So the correct option is Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So here it says food grains. Okay. So it includes all the rice, the wheat that is being produced, right? 47. After Karnataka, which accounts for the highest share of elephants in the whole country? Which Indian states south of the Vindhyas has the highest population? So here the correct option is uh, B, okay, Tamil Nadu. So after Karnataka, Assam has the second highest population of elephant, but here the focus is on the south of the Vindhya. Okay, so the correct option is B, okay. 48. Which states or union territory of India boasts of having the country's tallest mountain within the boundaries? So tallest mountain is Kanchenjunga, right? So it's located in Sikkim, right? 49. Which state accounts for the highest number of blue-collar expatriate overseas labor? So correct option is Uttar Pradesh, okay? Earlier it used to be Kerala, but now it's Uttar Pradesh, okay? Which place in mainland India is the last to have sunset every day? So here the correct option is Guhar Mota, right? So it's the westernmost point, and because it's the westernmost point, it is the one to have the last sunset. 51. ChatGPT. So what is the expansion of ChatGPT? Generative pre-trained transformer, right? Correct option is B. Question number 52. Which Indian government agency or institute is primarily responsible for issuing cyclone alerts in the country? Correct option is C. In IMT. 53. The atmospheric layer closest to the Earth is its troposphere, right? Question number 54. Air quality index value that represents good air quality is, here the correct option is 0 to 50, okay? So the good air quality is the one which has the lowest amount of pollution in the air, right? That's why the value is the least, okay? It extends anything from 0 to 50. A cloud server is a powerful physical or virtual infrastructure hosted remotely by a cloud service provider that delivers application, processes information, or provides data storage. It is called the cloud because the supporting infrastructure, services, and resources are located dash and not locally on an end user device. So if you have attended my classes, you will know that the correct option is A, right? Third-party owned data centers across the world, right? So those infrastructures are not located with us, but they are located somewhere else, right? And we're able to use those infrastructures without necessarily for us to have those infrastructures with us physically, right? Question number 56. Water is vital to our health as it plays a key role in many of our body's functions. Which of the following is not one of the key functions? So water performs so many functions, okay? So here we have to just say which one is not a key function, okay? Key function. So water bringing nutrients to the cell, reprocessing of the body waste, right? And maintaining body temperature. These are some of the key functions of the water, okay? So the correct option is B, because it's not, right? So it's not one of the key functions. Although water may have a role to play, but it's not one of the key functions, okay? Which of the following statements about kerosene is not correct? Now this is a question that I have been unable to find correct option, okay? So this is a correct statement, right? It is an essential component of jet fuel. So all those air turbine fuel, those fuel that is used in the airplanes and all, it has kerosene, right? This statement is not correct because it is not the highest polluting petroleum product. Okay, there are some many things that actually is a highest which is higher polluting than even kerosene. Okay, so this statement is also wrong. Its average price unit in India is not higher than that of diesel; it's lower than diesel, right? And this first statement is also kind of wrong because I had to relook into the internet again. Here, it has higher viscosity. Okay, so I'm not sure what will be the correct answer for number 57. Okay. 58. Fluoride is commonly used in toothpaste primarily because it, number D, right, strengthens tooth enamel. 59. Which of the following is not an essential ingredient that goes into the making of a typical bath soap? So, if you look in the ingredients of a bath soap, the basic ingredients will include a fat or an oil, okay? It will contain alkali and water. Okay, so these are the three basic ingredients of air. Okay, so the correct option is preservative because it does not form an essential ingredient to make a bathing salt. Question number 16. Which of the following is not a significant enough advantage offered by LED light bulb over the previously prevalent forms of light bulb? Okay, now here, all four of these are advantages that are offered by LED bulb, okay? But here, you have to be very mindful of this, okay? Significant enough advantage. So the advantage should be quite high, okay? So out of these four options that have been given, first is true, lower heat output compared to the conventional light bulb that we used to use in the past days. It has lower heat output, right? Even this is true because it has a longer lifespan also, and it also has lower negative impact, right? Because in the incandescent lamp and those type of lamps, bulbs, we have mercury and all also, right? Which is quite polluting to the environment. Although it gives a greater brightness, but this is not a significant enough advantage, okay? Because even normal light bulb can be made to have higher brightness, okay? So the correct option is B. 61. Which of the following statements about water content in the human body is incorrect, okay? So here the correct option is D because the concentration of the water will depend upon our age as well as our sex also, okay? So the statement number D is wrong, okay? It's the incorrect statement, so that's the correct option. Question number 62. Which of the following is the correct statement about changes in the state of water? So we have to see the correct statement, okay? Here the correct option is C, right? Because water when left uncovered slowly changes into vapor, right? So we're all quite aware if you keep some water outside, it will slowly start to evaporate, right? Which means it is changing into water vapor, right? Question number 63. Which of the following is not an accurate statement about solution? So here the correct option is A, okay? The not the accurate statement. Why? Because it is not necessary that the solution should have a liquid as a component, okay? It can be solid, it can be liquid, gas, anything can be, okay? So it's not necessary that liquid should be one of the component, right? Question number 64. Which of the following is not a correct statement about force? Here, the correct statement is C, okay? Why? Because the first statement is correct, right? Force can make an object move faster or slower, right? It can also be used to change the direction, right? It can change the shape and size of the object. Here, the statement is that a force automatically weakens over time. It is not necessary that a force should weaken over time, okay? It's just that the source of the force may stop. That's the only problem, right? So, it is not necessary that the force automatically weakens over time, right? 65. Which of the following is not the correct statement about gravitational forces? Here, the correct option is B, okay? Because gravitational pull means it's the force between any two heavenly bodies, right? So gravitational pull is the force that exists between the sun and the planet, as well as it is also the force between one planet and another, okay? So any two object or any two large object or heavenly bodies or any planets or sun, stars, they're exerting a certain gravitational force between each other, okay? Question number 66. When a bullock cart is in motion, in scientific terms, okay, work is being done by, so if you know a bullock cart, it is the bullock which is pulling the cart, right? So the work is being done only by the bullock, okay, in scientific terms. 67. Which of the following is not a correct statement about sound? Now, as we all know, sound can be both natural as well as artificial, right? Certain sounds can be heard by animals and not by human. Like for example, some animals like bats and all, they can hear different types of sound, right? Which we are not able to. And that's how they navigate also. Sound is intrinsically faster than wind by order of magnitude. So this is also true. Here, not the correct option is B, okay? Not the correct statement. Not the correct statement is B. So B is the correct option. Why? Because sound always require an energy to produce, okay? Because sound itself is an energy, okay? You always remember sound itself is an energy. So it will always require energy to produce, right? Question number 68. If different types of grains are produced successively in the same soil without repeating any of the crop types, which of the following statements holds good? Now, this is a very confusing question also, okay? And the options and all are more confusing than the question itself. So the first statement says, as the soil is naturally re-nourished by rain and river floods, there really is no need to fertilize in fields as different crops absorb different nutrients as they grow. So this part is true, okay? It is true that different crops will absorb different nutrients as they grow, right? Here we talks about crop rotation, right? Which means this year you'll grow one crop, next year you will grow another crop, like that, right? So in a way, this part of the sentence is true since different crops tend to grow on different nutrients, right? But here is problem. It is not necessary that the soil will be nourished by the rain and river floods, right? Sometimes the rain and the river floods will, you know, take away the nutrients, that process known as leaching also, right? So that may happen also. And this is also wrong. There's no need to use fertilizers because even if we are doing crop rotation, fertilizer is something that is required, right, over a period of time. So this statement is wrong. Second option is the nutritional value of the successive crops will decline over the years of unless the soil is enriched periodically. So this statement is kind of right because if you don't use nutrients, the nutritional values of the crops that you grow later on will decline, right? Which means because the plants is grown or the crops is being grown in less fertile soil, it means that the nutrients in the plant will also be less, right? Question number C. As different crops absorb different nutrients from the soil, the nutritional value of grains produced is not at all affected, at least in the initial years. Again, this is also wrong. Why? Because, see, of course, it's like I mentioned, different crops will absorb different nutrients from the soil, right? But we are not aware of how far the soil is, what is the condition of the soil, right? So if the soil from the initial years itself has low nutritional value, so the grains that is produced will also have low nutrients, right? So it will affect the nutritional value. So this statement is also wrong. There's no standard answer to this question as everything depends upon how rich the mineral soil is originally, regardless of the type of crop sown. So this is also wrong because the type of crop sown is also very important, okay? So the correct option is B. Question number 69. Food components that provide energy, support growth, help repair and protect our body from diseases, and maintain various bodily functions are called nutrients. Which of the nutrients protect our body from diseases and keep us healthy and also called protective nutrients? These are known as vitamins, right? Vitamins and minerals, right? For example, like if you have like vitamin A, you will suffer from certain diseases, or vitamin D, certain diseases, right? We are all aware of the list. And even lack of certain minerals will also affect us. So they are known as protective nutrients, okay? Deficiency of iodine in human body leads to goiter, right? 71. When some iron fillings are spread on a sheet of paper, a bar magnet is placed over them and the paper is tapped gently and repeatedly. What happens to the iron filling? So the correct option is A. They stick to the magnet mostly at the two ends of the bar called a magnetic pole, right? They get attracted to the pole side, the two poles. Then question number 72. In which of the three media, air, water, or iron, does sound travel faster at the particular temperature? So we all know that sound travels differently in different medium, right? So in the solid, it will travel the fastest, okay? So sound travels fastest in the solid. Question number 73. Which of the following is the primary source of light pollution? A primary consequence of light pollution. So the correct option is disruption of wildlife behavior and biological rhythms, right? Question number 74. Woolen fabrics are worn by us in winter to keep ourselves warm because the correct option is D, okay? So what happens in woolen clothes is that they have certain air pockets, okay? And these air pockets, being a poor conductor of heat, it prevents the heat from the body that it reduces the heat flowing out from our bodies to the surrounding, okay? So if you're a person and you're wearing an woolen coat, your body is naturally going to produce heat, right? That's normal only. So the woolen clothes will prevent the skip of the heat that is generated from our body, okay? Why? Because in the woolen clothes there are small air pockets, and these air pockets act as an insulator, okay? Question number 75. If you blow air into a glass of plain water, bubbles are created, which soon settle down and there is no change in the appearance of the water. What happens if you blow air into a glass of lime water? So the correct option is C. It creates bubbles and turns the lime water milky, and a white substance settle to the bottom. So what happens is that a glass of lime water will be calcium hydroxide, right? Now, if you blow air into it, so you are blowing carbon dioxide into it, right? So a chemical reaction takes place because of which calcium carbonate is produced, okay? And the white thing which is settling at the bottom is the calcium carbonate, okay? Question number 76. Seti in Buddhist text refers to which of the following? So it refers to merchant and trader. 77. Annexation of Kashmir during Akbar's reign took place in which of the following year? The correct option is C, 1586. 78. Which Harappan site renders evidence of large inscription with Harappan script? So here the correct option is Tholavera, okay? 79. Which of the following Mahajanpatas is geographically situated in the current day Pakistan? So if you are even not aware of these three places, if you know where Gandhar is, it is situated in present day Pakistan, okay? It became popular during the period of Kanishka and all, right? So during the period of Kushans. So Gandhar is present day situated in Pakistan. Question number 80. Which among the following is referred to as the Santrakotas in the Greek text about India? So Santrakotas, so it's like pronouncing as Chandragupta, right? So here the reference is to the Chandragupta Maurya, okay? And if you read history, you know, even Greek ambassador visited during the period of Chandragupta Maurya, right? Question number 81. Which Jain text mentions that there are 8,400,000 species, of which every single one is a cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth? So the correct option is B, okay? Uttarathayana Sutra. 82. Which among the following gurus of Sikhs gave special emphasis to planting trees and promoting greenery? It's Guru Har Rai. 83. Which among the following is the medieval scholar who translated several Sanskrit texts into Persian during Akbar rule? So it is Baduni, right? Yes. Abdul Qadir Baduni. 84. Which dynasty is associated with the introduction of silver coins known as panas? It is Mauryans. 85. The collection of hymns in each Veda is known as Samhita, right? 86. Where first and the first and the Sangam was held at Madurai, right? So there are three Sangams, right? The first and the third was held at Madurai. 87. According to Gautama Buddha, which path leads to the end of suffering? So it is Ashtangika Marga, right? In English, we consider it as the Eightfold Path method. Which of the following women is not mentioned in the Rig Veda? Answer is Sangamitra. 89. The Barit-e-Mumalik department under the Delhi Sultanate was responsible for intelligence and espionage, okay? So there are different departments, okay, during the Delhi Sultanate, and one of the famous department was the Barit-ul-Mumalik, which was responsible for this intelligence and espionage. 90. A Hathi soldier of the Mughal periods were troops that were recruited by the emperor. Number C. 91. The term Matat-e-Mash in the Mughal context refers to which of the following? Answer is revenue-free scholarly grants. 92. Which of the following is a literary source that explicitly mentioned that sage Vidyaranya guided Harihara and Bukka to found the Vijayanagar Empire? So the correct option is Vidyaranya Galakyan. Okay. Vitrayanya, Vidyaranya Kalagian. 93. A distinctive feature of Vijayanagara temple pillars is the carving of a mythical leonine beast known as the. So the correct option is Yali, okay? 94. The Kalesha temple at Ellora is a spectacular example of. So this is a rock cut vertical excavation, okay? So Kaleshna temple is very famous, okay? It's one of the temple located at Ellora cave. And one spectacular feature is that it was not carved from top to it was not carved from bottom to top, okay? They say that archaeologists say that it has been carved on from the top to the bottom, okay? And it is a single piece of rock, right? Rock cut. Question number 95. The collection of hymns of the Alvars saint is known as the Divya Prabandha, right? So Alvar saints were the ones which used to worship Vishnu, okay? Then there was another group of saints known as the Nayanars, right? Which used to worship the Shiva. So these were the group of people, right? 96. Which among the following was Rajaram Mohan Roy's first philosophical work? So here the correct option is Tufat ul Muwahuddin, okay? So this name is not very popular, but the English translation is Gift to Monotheists, okay? So this is a book which we all know, right? The English translated name of the book is Gift to Monotheists. So this is the first philosophical book of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Question number 97. Renumai Mazda's son Sabah book for the. So this is the correct option is C, okay? Parsis. 98. The venue of the first Congress session was shifted from Pune to Bombay due to here. The correct option is D, okay? Because there was an outbreak of cholera at Pune. 99. In which year was the Landholder Society formed? So the correct option is 1837. So these were some of the organizations that we used to study before the establishment of the INC, right? So Landholder Society was one of them. Question number 100. Which moderate leader founded the Servants of the Indian Society? So it is Gopal Krishna Gokhale. 101. Which among the following led the rebel forces in Bareilly before moving to Delhi during the revolt of 1857? So this is General Pak Khan, right? 102. Which of the after the separation of revolt of 1857 in Delhi, the British forces finally recaptured the city in somewhere in September 1857, okay? 103. In which jail did Tilak write the Gita Rahasya? So the correct option is C, okay? Mandalay jail. So this is located in Myanmar, right? So Gita Rahasya is nothing but, it was a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, okay? 104. The earliest revolutionary organization founded by V.T. Savarkar is Abhinav Bharat Society, okay? So B is the correct option, and he founded it along with his brother, okay? 105. Who renounced his knighthood after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre? So it is Rabindranath Tagore. Which administrative post was newly created under the Pitt's Indian Act of 1784 to supervise the British East India Company's civil, military, and revenue functions? So it is the Board of Control, okay? Previously, the Court of Directors was looking after all the functions of the East India Company, okay? But Pitt's India Act separated the function, okay? So the civil, military, and revenue affairs were looked after by the Board of Control, and all those commercial functions were looked after by the Court of Directors, okay, which existed earlier. 107. Which act introduced for the first time local representation in the Legislative Council, okay? So it is Indian Council Act of 1890. Yes, 1892. 108. The Congress resolution of 1888 stated that it would not take up issues concerning a religious community if the correct option is B. Majority of that community oppose it. 109. The term non-Brahmin manifesto is associated with which year? So it is associated with 1916. Okay, it was associated with Justice Party. 110. Which of the following is not a book written by Jyotiba Phule? So it is, even if you don't know the books that have been written by Jyotiba Phule, you know that Annihilation of Caste was written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? So correct option is D. 111. The parallel government established during the Quit Indian movement in Satara was C. Prati Sarkar. Okay. 112. Into how many groups or autonomous regions were the provinces arranged under the cabinet mission group plan? It is 3 groups. Okay. Group A, B, and C. Tyranny trials after the end of the Second World War were held at Red Fort, Delhi. 114. The Calcutta killings took place under the premiership of which of the leader of Bengal government? It is H.S. Surawati. Okay. 115. The legal document used to integrate princely state with India is Instrument of Accession, right? The revamped goods and GST structure came into effect on 22nd September 2025 when the country adopted a simplified two-tier tax system wherein most goods and services will be taxed at 5% and 18%. However, so instead of reading the whole thing, you know that the luxury items are taxed at 28%, okay, in India. So this is, in fact, this is the highest tax slab under GST. 117. The regional commissioners of Election Commission of India are appointed by, so this is appointed by President of India, okay? So usually they don't appoint the regional commissioners, but it is a provision that is given in the constitution itself, okay? Under Article 324, I think itself. So it's a provision, although no appointment has been made as regional commissioners, but it is a provision given in the constitution. An amendment to the Constitution of India can be initiated, so it is number B, okay? Only by the introduction of a bill in either house of a parliament. So you have to remember that prior permission of the president is not required. Why? Because when you're amending a constitution, it is a legislative function, right? So the power lies solely with the legislators, right? That is the 2 houses of the parliament. 119. Appointment to which of the following position is not made by the President of India? So here the correct option is B, Chief Minister, because it is being done by the governor, right? Which is the correct expansion of the abbreviation ETPPMS pertaining to the system of postal ballot of the Election Commission of India? So the correct option is C, electronically transmitted postal ballot management system. 121. Which was the first ever state to be formed on linguistic basis in India in the year 1956? We all know it is Andhra Pradesh, right? 122. Which of the following option regarding the sector of Indian economy is not correct? So agriculture is primary, manufacturing is secondary, education is not primary, right? Education is tertiary. It is service sector. So correct option is C, okay? Because it is not correctly matched. The Lok Sabha has been allocated 903 crores in the union budget. In the same budget, what is the allocation to the upper house? So allocation is always higher for the Lok Sabha, okay, as compared to Rajya Sabha, because there's more people in Lok Sabha also, of course. So the correct option is D. Less than half of the amount given to the Lok Sabha. So the allocation to the upper house, that is the Rajya Sabha, was lesser than half the amount that was given to the Lok Sabha, okay? 124. Which of the following statements about the share of sectors in Indian economy in employment is true if you consider the last 40 years? So here, the correct option is A, okay. Despite the significant growth in the secondary and tertiary sectors, over the years, the primary sector continues to be the largest employer even now. So here, you always have to remember that agriculture generally employs around anywhere from 45 to 55% of India's population, okay? So a major chunk of India's employment is taken by the agriculture. Question number 125. In October 2025, RPI came up with a rationalist norm through the draft RPI Direction 2025 to be implemented from 1st April 2026, which seeks to rationalize and consolidate the applicable regulation governing such exposure. The move is, so here the correct option is B, okay, to raise the loan amount to companies to purchase their share through IPOs and FPOs. So IPOs means when a company goes from private to public, okay? So instead of just certain individuals holding the company, known as the private equity, people can invest in that company, okay? IPOs. Question number 126. As per the Election Commission of India norms, Indian citizens who have attained the age of 18 years can enroll themselves as general voters by filling which of the forms? So the correct option is C, okay? Form 6. So anything. So in case if a person wants to enroll as a voter, he has to fill up the Form 6, okay? And submit it to the election office. 127, thus Bihar Assembly election 2025 was held for how many seats? So the number of seats in Bihar Assembly election is 243, okay? Each body or institution established under Article 148 of Constitution of India is known as the Supreme Audit Institution of India. So it is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. 129. The proposed Dutch Constitution Amendment Bill in Parliament seeks the removal of a Prime Minister, Chief Minister, and ministers under the arrest for 30 days straight on serious charges. So the correct option is A, okay? The 129 Constitution Amendment Bill. So it was brought up in the year 2004, okay? It's not a new bill, it's an old bill, but it lapsed because it could not be passed in both the house, in any one of the houses, okay? 130. The public health sector HAL recently sealed 1 billion deal with which leading defense manufacturer to procure 113 jet engines for its Tejas light combat aircraft program. So the correct option is A. GE Aerospace USA, okay? 131. The India AI Impact Summit 2026, scheduled for February 19 to 2026 in New Delhi, will be first ever global AI summit hosted in the global south. What will be the three foundational pillars on which the summit will be anchored? It is people, planet, and progress. Which of the following is an accurate statement about the declaration of assets by the judges of a Supreme Court? So, the correct option is B, okay? Judges should make a declaration of their assets on assuming in office, and whenever any accusation of the substantial nature is made, only the Chief Justice will be kept in confidence. So, uh, the asset or a wealth that is held by the judges of the Supreme Court are not made public, okay? It is only the Chief Justice of India who is made aware of the wealth that is being held by the different judges. 133. Which of the following is the most accurate statement about the Constitution or the Constitution of India? So here four statements are given. So if you look at the first statement, the first function of the Constitution is to provide a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination among the members of a society. So although Constitution, the role of Constitution is that also, but it's not the main role function, okay? Second statement is the first function of the Constitution is to specify who has the power to make the decisions in a society. It decides how the government will be constituted. So this is the correct statement, okay? So the correct option is A, according to me. Why? Because it is a constitution which, from where everyone draws their, is the source of power for everyone, right? It also specifies who makes the rules, regulations in the society, right? The C is also not a wrong question, but here it says that the Indian constitution horizontally fragments power across different institutions like legislature, executive, and judiciary, with even independent statutory authorities like election commission being wholly under their control. So the second part of the question here it's wrong, okay? Election Commission being wholly under their control is not right because they are independent bodies, right? As you're all aware. And the last statement is also wrong, right? 134. The foremost right among the right to freedom is the right to. So the right to freedom includes those rights under Indian Constitution, okay? Article 19 to Article 22, right? So the most important among the right to freedom is the right to life and personal liberty, right? Why? Because when we talk about right to life and liberty, it's a very vague, okay? In a way, it's a vague right, but it includes so many other rights. In fact, most of the right just comes under the, authority of the right to life and personal liberty. So the correct option is C, okay? 135. As per the Constitution, which of the following is not amongst the fundamental duties of every citizen of India, which two are not enforceable by law? So if you look at the list of fundamental duties, you see the first three options you will see, okay? So to do community service is not a fundamental duty, right? 136. In 1978, the 44th Amendment to the Constitution of India removed the right to dash from the list of fundamental right and converted into a simple legal right under Article 300A. It is right to property, right? Which of the following is not among the discretionary power of the President of India in matters concerning the Parliament? So it is C, okay? calling for dissolution of the Lok Sabha if or she is not dissatisfied with the style of functioning of Prime Minister. So President cannot simply call for dissolution of the Lok Sabha, okay? He has to follow the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, right? So that's the basic idea of parliamentary system of government only. 138. India recently announced a special economic package of about 680 million US dollar for Maldives, okay, pledging support in health infrastructure and maritime security, following talks between the premiers of the two countries. So in options things like this, now it talks about maritime security, okay, even if you don't know the correct option, here it talks about maritime security, which means that country has to be situated near to ocean, right? But countries like Nepal, Bhutan, these are landlocked countries, right? So you can easily omit these things, okay? So here the clue is maritime security, okay? 139. The Office of the Economic Advisor in the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, Ministry of Commerce and Industry is responsible for compiling the wholesale price index and releasing it. WPI captures the average movement of the wholesale price of goods and is primarily used as a, we all know, GDP deflator, right? 140. The monthly index of core of industry. So there is 8 core industries in India, right? Which has been calculated separately by the government, by the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, right? Office of the Economic Advisor. So it does not include food products, okay? So it includes refinery products, fertilizers, electricity, coal, crude oil, natural gas, steel, cement, and all, okay? So these are the 8 things that are included, and food products is not one of the core industries, okay? 141. The authorized strength of the Nagaland civil service under the government of Nagaland is C, okay? 308. 142. The minimum wage rate under the Manrika employment scheme for the year 2024-25 is, so top, I managed to track down to D, okay, 255. So if there might be correction also, but this is the answer I managed to get, okay? 143. The Nagaland Board of School Education conducted its first high school leaving certificate in the year 1974. Okay, so NPSC was constituted in the year 1973, and the first examination was held in the year 1974. Which of the following statement is true in respect of the government Committee on Government Assurances at Nagaland Legislative Assembly? Okay, so the correct option is D. Okay, so Committee on Government Assurances is not only in the Legislative Assembly, but it is even seen in the Lok Sabha. Okay, and here it serves as government assurances, right? So you just look into the assurances and promises and undertakings that have been given by minister in charge on the floor of the house and reports to the assembly whenever such assurance, promises, or undertakings have been implemented. Okay. 145. Which reason what is not mentioned by A.W. Davis while narrating that divorces are frequent among the Angamis and of course for various reasons. So the correct option is B, okay? These 3 things have been mentioned. 146. Which are the main functions of the drug controller under the Health and Family Welfare Government of in Nagaland? Okay, so here the option is A, ensuring availability of good quality, affordable medicine through strict enforcement of drug laws. 147. What was the primary intention behind the introduction of non-intervention policy in British India when Lord Dalhousie was the Governor General here? What was the primary intention behind the introduction of the non-intervention policy by in British India when Lord Dalhousie was the governor? So option is B, right? Fear of incurring financial risk to expand an administrative setup into the hills. 148. Under the Jal Jeevan Mission of the Government of India, community contribution is dash of the total cost, which may be in cash, kind, or labor. So the correct option is 5%, right? 149. The village guards was raised in the erstwhile Pyeongsang Frontier Division under NIFA administration on 1st March 1957. As per the standing OM of the Government of Nagaland, any land required by central government agencies or other parties for reasons considered to be in public interest shall be on lease for a period of 99 years, okay? So state government has to buy the land and then only the government can lease it to that particular agency, okay? The central agency can't buy the land directly, okay? In Nagaland. 151. The Special Task Force for Music was constituted in as an advisory body to the government during the years of youth empowerment. Correct option is A. September 2003. The first regional political party of the state of Nagaland to be registered with the Election Party of India is Naga Nationalist Organization. 153. Victoria Cross, the highest military award to the British government in the Naga Hills, was given to Captain Richard Kirby Ridgway of Bengal Staff Corps for which battle? Battle of Konoma. 154. The Integrated Child Development Services under the Social Welfare Department, Government of Nagaland, was implemented through Dash Anganwadi centers across the state during 2024 to 2025. Correct option is B, okay? The system of Dobashi was first introduced in the Naga Hills by John Gregory in the year 1866 to 67. The first attempt to classify Naga language was made by John Butler. The inner line permit was extended to the entire district of Dimapur under the Section 2 of the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation 1873 with effect from 27 September 2018. 158. Out of the Nagaland geographical area of 16,579 square kilometer, what is the total area occupied by reserve forest and wildlife sanctuary? 3.06%. 159. Short Awake is a documentary that highlights the importance of creation of the log drum. 160. Which of the following statement about Nagaland biological diversity rules is not true? Here the correct option is B, okay? Biodiversity Management Committee is bound by it. 161. Which of the following is the governor of Nagaland who inaugurated the Nagaland State Commission for Women? Nikhil Kumar. 162. Match the following Nagaland personalities with the awards that they got. So if you match the options, the correct option is B, okay? 1 is D, 2 is C, 3 is A, and 4 is B, okay? I think there will be some correction here, okay? B, C. Or should be A. Should be B and then Tinao Tao should be 1C, 2D, 3B, and 4. This is the correct option, okay? 162D. 163. With what objective was the Gordon Graham Prize launched in 2018? To give recognition to academic excellence. where the theme livelihood through tradition was used for which of the following festivals? For a ninth Naga Loin Loom festival, right? TZB. 65. Which traditional art of the Naga is a testament to the skill and artistry with intricate patterns and symbolism? This is which tradition is a testament of the skills and artistry with intricate patterns and symbolism. Correct option for this. Is it weaving or wood carving? Which traditional art of Naga is a testament of the skills and artistry with intricate patterns and
Wood carving.
wood carving, na? Lycanthropy, the belief prevalent among the Naga tribe, refers to A, right? A supernatural phenomenon of mythical transformation of man into beast and animal. 167. The Living Murung initiative of the government of Nagaland is primarily meant to. The Living Murung initiative of the government primarily meant to revitalize and preserve traditional Naga cultures and tradition, right? The Naga log drum as a musical instrument is categorized as idiophone, right? So quartophone is those chords, okay, with strings, no? While aerophones are those like flute and all, no, which you used to blow. So and idiophones are those things like drums and all, no?
No idea, sir.
So musical instruments are classified in different ways, okay? So we have like idiophone, aerophone, quartophone. So depending upon how the music is produced, na, these are classified. So if you say aerophone, so just imagine a flute, right? In the flute, what do? We blow into it, right?
Sir, what is lamella phone?
Lamella phone is, even I'm not very sure on lamella phone because usually we used to classify it as idiophone, aerophone, and quartophone, okay? These are the, so it's, I've just checked it now, so it is a type of musical instrument, okay? So, but category-wise, it is generally idiophone, aerophone, and quartophone, right? 169. Who or what is Elon New? A movement to preserve the traditional art and loinloom. 170. Which of the following government act is correctly paired with the year in which it has been enacted? So all those four options are correct, I think. So the correct option is D. Which of the following is an example of application software? Here the correct option is Notepad, right? Linux and Microsoft OS are operating system, okay, not system software. These are Linux and Macs are system software, while Notepad is an application software. Which of the following is a volatile memory? It is RAM, right? Which of the following is an open source operating system? So it is Linux, okay? Open source operating system means those operating system whose source code is public, okay? And because it is public, it is available to us, right? Which of the following protocol is used for secure communication over computer network? So the correct option is HTTPS, right? HTTP. Yes. HTTPS. 175. What does the term bit stand for? It stands for binary digit, right? 176. So the correct option here is 725, 79. Okay, so you just take that number, okay, multiply it with 3 times, and then you add 4, right? So first is 7, second is 7 into 3 plus 4. Next will be, you take the previous number, which is 25 into 3 plus 4. You get 79, right? So I'll just list down the answering key on here, okay? 177, it talks a truck traveling at 70 km per hour uses 30% more diesel to travel a certain distance than it does when it travels at a speed of 50 km per hour. If the truck can travel at 19 kilometers per liter of diesel at 50 km per hour, how far can the truck travel on 10 liters of diesel at a speed of 70 km per hour? So the correct option is C. 178. Find the odd one out from the jumbled word screen below. You just have to see which is not there, right? So it is A, right? This is there here. This is there here, and it is there. 179. If in a certain code 564 means study very hard, 736 means hard work base, and 423 means study and work, which of the following is a code word for work, right? So it is here 423 means study and work, right? So the correct option is B, right? If A and B means A is the father of B, A into B means A is the brother of B, A dollar B means A is the mother of B, then which of the following is correct about K dollar D ampersand M? So the correct option from what I got is B, okay? D is the son of K, right? 181, find the next number in the series. So here if you look at this series, okay? So you just take this series, 4 square, 5 square, 6 square, 7 square, 8 square, okay? And 9 square. So it is 16, 25, 36, 49, it is a 64, 81, right? So just reverse it, okay? 16 becomes 61, 25 becomes 52, 36 becomes 63, 49 becomes 94, 64 becomes 46, this one becomes 18. So correct option is 18, right? 182. A shipping clerk has 5 boxes of different but unknown weights, each weighing less than 100 kg. The clerk weighs the box in pairs. The weight options are 110, 112, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, and 21. What is the weight of the heaviest box? So the answer is B, okay? 182. Cities A, B, and C, each of these cities is connected to the other 2 cities by at least one direct road. If the traveler wants to go from one city to another city, he can do so either by traversing a road connecting the 2 cities directly, or by traversing 2 roads, the first connecting the origin to the third city and the second connecting the third city to the destination. In all this, there are 33 roads from A to B. Similarly, there are 23 roads from B to C. How many roads connect from A to C? So correct option is A, okay? 184. How is P related to Q, given that K is the son of A's mother's sister, Q is the daughter of D, the father of G, and the grandfather of A, P is the daughter of H, the grandmother of K, D is the husband of H, and G is the husband of L. So correct option is C, okay? 185. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are members of a family connecting the 4 adults and 3 children. 2 of them, F and G, are boys. A and D are brothers, and A is an engineer. E is a doctor married to one of the brothers and has 2 children. B is married to D and G is the child. Who is C? So, answer for 185 is B, okay? Which of the following is a prime number? So, option is 571, right? Because it is not divisible by any other number, right? Find the sum of the first 90 even natural number. So here, 187, the correct option is B, okay? So the formula is as sum of a even natural number, the formula is Sn into n plus 1, okay? So the first 90 is how much? 90 into 90 plus 1, right? So you'll get it as at 190, okay? Find the sum of two set of 2 numbers whose product is 200 and the difference between the 2 numbers are the set. So it says here that you just consider x and y as 2 numbers. So their sum is 2 numbers whose product. So x into y, you'll get it as 200, right? And the difference between the two numbers is the set of the list. So consider y is the smaller number, okay? So which means x minus y is equal to y, okay? So you'll find that one of the number is 10, one of the number is 20, okay? And the sum, we have to find the sum, which means it is 30, right? 189. When my sister was born, I was 1/10 of my father's age. This year, my sisters voted for the first time and I celebrated my 22nd birthday. Find the father's age when my sister was born. So answer is 40 years, okay? 190. When my parents got divorced, the age were in the ratio of 11 is to 10. This year, they celebrated their 15th marriage anniversary. If the total of their ages at a given silver jubilee, at their silver jubilee anniversary will be 113. Find my father's age now. So answer is D, okay? 48 years. If x is greater than 2 and y is greater than -1, then which of the following statement is necessarily true? Here the option is B, okay? So here one statement is given as x is greater than 2, right? Now if you multiply by -2 on either side, you will see that it is minus x is larger than -2, right? Because if you put minus sign on both the side, the symbol changes, okay? Now if you look at the second part, it is y is greater than -2, okay? So y is greater than -1. Now you multiply by 2 on either side, okay? Which means you'll get 2y is greater than -2, right? So if you look at these two statements, you see that 2y is greater than -2 and -2 is greater than -x, right? So which means that 2y is greater than -x. So correct option is -x is lesser than 2y, okay? Question number 192. 40% of the employees of a certain company are men and 75% of the men earn more than 25,000 per year. If 45% of the company's employees earn more than 25,000 per year, what fraction of the women employed by the company earn less than or equal to 25,000 per year? So the answer is 3 by 4, okay? Total expenses of a boarding house are partly fixed and partly varying linearly with the number of boarders. The average expense per boarder is rupees 300 when there are 25 boarders and rupees 600 when there are 50 boarders. Boarders means occupants only, okay? What is the average expense per boarder when there are 100 boarders? The correct option is A, okay? 550. 194. Find the correct alternative which will replace the question mark inside the triangle. The answer is B, 33. 195 is find the correct alternative which will replace the question mark inside the box. It is C, okay? 196 from amongst the given options, which one can replace the question mark in the segment of the circle? It is B, okay? 197. If you solve this, okay, your answer, you will get it as D, okay? QGB. So you just have to calculate the alphabets, okay? All these two are related. Accordingly, you just have to calculate it here. So you'll get it as QGB, right? And last, so there's a very limited graphical questions, right? This year, there's only 3 questions, 1 graph and 3 questions, right? So here you'll see that there's a graph and it talks about a company, okay? IVP company. So it talks about 2 things. So the graph with the square box is the sales, right? How much it has sold. And the one with the small box, undarkened box is the net profit, okay? So it keeps for a period of 94, 95, 95, 96, 96, 97, 97, 98, and 98, 99. Okay. Here, the highest percentage of the growth in sale compared to the previous year was achieved in the year. So you just have to see growth percentage in the growth of sale, right? So you just have to see difference between 2 years, okay? And you divide it by lesser year, right? For example, for first year, okay? For first period, so here, sale is how much? 250, right? Minus 100. So it is 150, right? Now in terms of percentage, how much it will be? 150 divided by 100, right? Into 100%. So you'll find it as 150, right? So here the correct option is A, okay, 95 to 96. The highest percentage growth in the net profit compared to the previous years. Here also, student, again, you can calculate, okay? So it will be 4.5 minus 2.5 is how much? 2, right? So we have to calculate in terms of percentage, right? 2 divided by 2.5 into 100%. So you keep on calculating for all these 4 years, right? And you'll see that the correct option is A, okay? And 200, defining profitability as the ratio of the net profit to the sales recorded the highest profitability is. So here we have to see for these 4 years, you just have to calculate this ratio, okay? Net profit to sales. For example, for the first year, what is the net profit? 2.5, right? And what is the sales? 100, right? Profitability as the ratio of the net profit to the sales. So, first year, for this year, it is 2.5. So it is 4.5 minus 2.5, right? And net profit to net sales, right? What is the net sales here? 250 minus 100, okay? So you just calculate like this for all these 4 years. And you see that the highest profitability is achieved in the year, the first year, okay? 1998 to 1999. You just find this ratio like this for other years also. So these are the 100 questions that have been asked for this year, 200 questions that have been asked for this year, okay?